I believed I had arthritis when I was a teenager, but my GP always said that I'm too young for it. People around me always said it was an old person's condition. But is that the case? Are we misled? And how do I now treat my arthritis? I share all of this in today's video, but as always, please remember that I'm not a medical professional. I am a patient sharing her medical journey. Please always seek a doctor for your personal case. If you would like to navigate through this video faster, then you can through the timestamps stated in the description box. Now, a few years ago, I was finally diagnosed with arthritis in my wrist and some of my finger joints during a bone scan that was to be done to find out about something else. Okay, let's get one thing cleared up first. I think it's important before I go on. What is arthritis? Very simply explained, arthritis is an inflammation of the joints, and the two most common types are osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. But you know what's crazy? There are over 100 different types of arthritis. Imagine that. Treatment then depends on the type of arthritis one has. I thought to specifically speak about 3 types of arthritis, and there are reasons for why I speak of these 3, which I'll explain as I go along. I also want to share how I manage my arthritis, which is actually the most important part, I think, of this video that I want to share. I feel doctors can give us generic ways and standard medicines, but as patients living with it, we end up being innovative in trying our best to help ourselves. Okay, first, I'll begin with the 3 types of arthritis that I was talking about. The first is osteoarthritis, OA. I have osteoarthritis, and guess what? It can happen to anyone at any age. But it's supposed to be most common the older you get, since its main cause is joint wear and tear, when the cartilage between the joint breaks down and the bone rubs against each other. But that age rule doesn't apply to all, obviously, since I'm a clear example of it. Wear and tear can happen to younger people too, for various reasons. For me, it could be very likely because I have endometriosis. As I've explained in a video titled, Can Endometriosis Cause Joint Pain? I'll link that in the description box. I've explained more about how endometriosis connects with osteoarthritis. So I mainly experience pain and stiffness in my fingers and wrist, but many also experience inflammation and tenderness. I also fall under the commonly affected areas category of fingers and wrists. There are other common areas, which are the spine, hips, and knees. So if you experience all these symptoms, then you should push to have it checked out, because osteoarthritis is known as one of the most chronic forms of arthritis, and cartilage issues aren't the only reason that cause OA. Dislocated joints, tendon injuries, repetitive strain injuries, metabolic diseases, genetics, bone deformities, and a few other reasons can all be factors to consider before being dismissed of this diagnosis. And another thing, and I quote the Mayo Clinic here, osteoarthritis causes changes in the bone and deterioration of the connective tissues that hold the joint together and attach muscle to bone. It also causes inflammation of the joint lining, unquote, which I believe also connects with my Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. Upon further reading and speaking to my doctor, people with EDS appear to be more susceptible to osteoarthritis as well. I link some more information on this in the description box. But at the end of it, everything is connected. But does addressing the cause fix the additional issues that come from it? From personal experience, I found that working on the source of the problem may help reduce the possibility of new comorbidities showing up and may help an existing one. But eventually, the existing comorbidity has a way of living independently in the body. Let's also clarify one question. Are osteoporosis and osteoarthritis the same? They're not. Osteoporosis is the loss of bone mass, which is usually diagnosed through a test that checks bone mineral density, the DXA-DEXA scan, which I feel especially women who are more prone to osteoporosis should get checked when they're younger. I had mine at 31. So it's important to know the density of their bones. If there is a loss in bone mass, they can see their doctor and come up with a plan to help themselves. Whereas now osteoarthritis is the degeneration of one or multiple joints. For me, this was diagnosed through a bone scan. For others, I have seen MRI, blood tests, and joint fluid analysis done. Thankfully, for me, it was quite straightforward. Now, on to the second form of arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, RA. Rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune disorder, which means the body attacks itself. In the case of RA, the body attacks your healthy joints and tissues, causing pain, inflammation, morning stiffness, joint deformities, even a burning or tingling sensation in those areas, and in many cases, pain on both sides of the body occur. I speak of RA because my mother has it, and I've heard her deal with these pains since before I was born. But my mom also had endometriosis and adenomyosis. Endometriosis is known to play a role in triggering RA. There are multiple blood tests to help diagnose RA, such as rheumatoid factor, ESR, and C-reactive protein. But there is so much more to diagnosing RA than just these blood tests. Symptoms and medical history also play a vital role in being diagnosed with it. In these last few years, I have been suspected to have RA, but it's not been a conclusive diagnosis. But then I already have osteoarthritis, Ehlers-Danlos, endometriosis, and other issues, like I've been mentioning. So a lot of the treatment for RA is going to be covered while dealing with these conditions. So it's not like I'm being denied a course of treatment. I just don't have a diagnosis of it or like a label connecting me to RA. Now, the third type of arthritis, Ankylosing Spondylitis, and I swear I've said that wrong, AS. So AS is a rare form of arthritis, and as WebMD explains, and I quote, ankylosis means fused bones or other hard tissue. Spondylitis means inflammation in your spinal bones or vertebrae. Severe cases can leave your spine hunched, unquote. I speak about this condition today because a really kind and sweet friend of mine, Carrie Kellinger, has AS. So if you believe you experience stiffness in your lower back, butt, shoulders, hands, ribcage, thighs, feet, heels, hips, if you have a rigid spine, swelling, trouble breathing, and wish to understand more from a patient's perspective, and you don't want to wait 10 years, yes, that's how long the diagnosis can take, then check out Carrie's story. I will link her story in the description box. Please do. Please. Now, on to the next part. How I treat my arthritis, the osteoarthritis and the rheumatoid arthritis. My treatment of arthritis is solely based on having osteoarthritis and possible rheumatoid arthritis. I obviously am limiting my treatment plan, but there is one thing we must remember. These are not cures. These are treatments because it cannot so far be cured. Also, please remember that I also have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, endometriosis, PCOS, osteoporosis, osteopenia, and fibromyalgia, amongst other conditions that also play a huge role in my pain levels. There was a time when I was on steroids for my EDS flare-up, but I am now not on them and don't feel comfortable being on steroids because they mess up my energy levels. They damaged my hair and skin, and I find I take longer to comprehend sentences and situations. So no steroids for me, but they are very helpful for others. So I won't ever knock them for others, but personally, I'd rather avoid them. Then there are anti-inflammatories. On some of my worst days, I do find myself reaching for them. Again, they do reduce the pain, but they also slow me down for the next 24 hours with a lot of drowsiness. I am not a fan of these either, but I don't shy away from taking them if I need them. My favorite ways to help treat my pain are more natural ways, such as taping my fingers and wrist, using finger splints, bandaging for compression, hot water bags, which are my favorite, and taking natural anti-inflammatories like ginger turmeric. I have it in a tea form, which is a ginger turmeric tea. I have listed all the things I do to help my pain in an earlier video, and I go into depth in that video, which I will link in the description box in case you've missed out on that video. Also, I follow an anti-inflammatory diet. Again, I'll link the video of my diet in the description box. Let's now quickly conclude. I have arthritis. It is now believed that I've had it since I was a teenager. And unfortunately, despite juvenile idiopathic arthritis actually existing as a type of arthritis, it somehow wasn't an option for me. Arthritis isn't an old person's condition. It can happen at any age. So please, never believe otherwise. Have you ever been diagnosed with arthritis? Was it an easy experience? What do you do to treat your pain and stiffness? Please do share so that we can help each other out with our experiences. Please, again, also do like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.